I have been the target of serious assassination attempts.
Now he's dodged bullets, survived an ambush, and now lives under constant threat. But Iranian dissident Hossein Abedini says he'll never back down.
Yes, and with Tehran accused of plotting attacks on UK soil, exiles here are being warned now to stay very alert. But Abedini says freedom's worth the risk.
Well, Hossein Abedini joins us now in the studio to discuss this. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
The attempts on your life made by the Iranian regime, there have been several of them.
That is right. I have been the target of serious assassination attempts. It first happened in Turkey when I was shot in the chest and also in the abdomen, very seriously wounded. I was in a coma condition for nearly 50 days and had to go through many, many surgeries to survive, because they said, my chances were very, very slim. But finally, after, many operations, I managed, to survive. But there were 2 more attacks on my life in the same hospital in Turkey, under the disguise of the police, and also people, claiming that they were my friends at the university. They came to hospital, they wanted to finish me off. But miraculously, I survived. And after that, I also have been in places where the Iranian regime had targeted. In 2018, there was a serious attempt by the Iranian regime to explode tens of thousands of Iranians who had gathered in Paris, in Villepinte in Paris. But, fortunately, at the very last moments, it was realized there was a very strong delegation of the UK parliamentarians in the same meeting. And an Iranian diplomat was involved in that, together with 3 other terrorists who were jailed. The Iranian diplomat was then sentenced to life imprisonment. But later, due to this appeasement policy, he was released, in a prisoner swap with Belgium.
And have you had threats to your life in this country?
I have actually been cautioned by the police. I've been approached by the anti-terrorism branch, and they've told me to be very vigilant because of the regime's attempts on the Iranian dissidents' lives. This regime has been behind some 500 major terrorist operations against Iranian dissidents as well as foreign nationals. 300 Iranian dissidents have died in these terrorist attacks. Many of my own colleagues with whom I have been in different international forums, they have been targeted, including 2 former Iranian ambassadors who had changed side, and during the resistance movement, they were targeted and killed.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C-18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
Targeted and killed, in one of them in European United Nations European Center in Geneva and the other one in Italy, in Rome. Because this regime, since its inception, has been really based on two levers, pillars. One of them is the internal executions and repression. The regime has been behind 120,000 executions of its political dissidents, the PMI, the main resistance movement, and also terrorism and exporting fundamentalism to other parts of the world.
And we've seen that writ large over the last 12 months, perhaps more than ever before. We've seen missiles fired from Iran to residential Israel. We've seen, of course, Hezbollah sponsored by Iran. But also, now the security services are suggesting there is more Iranian state activity, perhaps sponsoring terrorism in this country too.
That is true. Unfortunately, this has been the result of a policy, a weak policy, which has been used in different times under different circumstances, giving it different names, a soft line approach toward the Iranian regime. Whereas this regime has been emboldened as a result of this, and brazenly they have continued their murderous activities inside Iran. 1,200 people have been executed only under Masoud Pezeshkian, the new so-called more moderate of the president of the regime. But the supreme leader of the regime is at the top of the Supreme National Security Council of the regime, where all the decisions for terrorist actions are taken. So I think it's very important and commendable what the intelligence and the police is doing in this country. But I think that has to be coupled with a very firm and comprehensive policy targeting the IRGC. There are four things which I think should be done, as it was reiterated by the president-elect of the Iranian resistance, Mrs. Mayam Rajavi, in different conferences. First of all, the UK Home Office should proscribe the IRGC as a terrorist organization.
The Iranian Revolutionary Guard.
Exactly, because now its arms, like an octopus, is reaching different parts of the world, and it has now, unfortunately, reached this country.
And very quickly, what are the other things that must be done?
Yes. Well, the other things is secondly, they have to, the UK must have a proactive position to activate the mechanism, snapback mechanism on the Iranian regime in the nuclear deal,
right.
To reinstate, all the United Nations things against the regime, sanctions against the regime. And thirdly, they should support the right of the Iranian people to overthrow this regime and to support the democratic opposition movement for the establishment of democratic government, and close down the Iranian embassies and all its front companies.
Well, there's a lot that needs to be done, clearly. Hossein Abedini, we really appreciate your time. Sorry we have to cut it short, but we've run out of time. That's the music playing there. Hossein Abedini there, thank you very much.